Wow, guys, I feel like I've hit the lottery with God. Like the way He comes through to just let me know that He's with me. Like, who am I that God would come and show up for me? Like on Saturday, I was at a friend's house and I read this verse, and the verse meant so much to me because it related to an argument we had like the week before when my friend said that it's not fair for people to suffer and have sorrow and to live with pain. And I'm like, no, sometimes God does require that of us. He asks us to enjoy painful situations. And so I read this verse, and I think this was God's response to her. And I read it to her. It said, a person might have to suffer even when it is unfair. But if he thinks of God and stands the pain, God is pleased. And it went on to say, but if you suffer for doing good and you are patient, then God is pleased. This is what you were called to do, because Christ suffered for you and gave you an example to follow. So you should do as He did. And I felt like so strongly that that was a message from God in response to her thing to saying, oh, you shouldn't have to live with pain. And I'm like, yes, God does require us to live with pain sometimes, and He requires us to do difficult things the same way Jesus did a difficult thing by suffering on the cross and dying on the cross for us 2,000 years ago. And so I felt so strongly it was a message from God. Like, even though it didn't relate to a post I wrote the next day, I made sure I included that verse. And right after writing it, my daughter Julie calls me and she said, oh, Mom, this is not fair. Something that I'm asking her to do. I'm like, oh my goodness, Julie, this is what I just wrote about in my post. I think this message is from you, because it says a person might have to suffer even when it's unfair. So I took that as a God wink to my daughter, Julie. So I wrote about it again the next day. And then yesterday I was talking to my friend over the phone, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe how every time I'm over at your house, it feels like God is right there with me. Like that verse that showed up on Saturday, you know, on Sunday, she saw me come and I went to get my Joshy's iPad to find that verse again so I could include it in the post. You know, I said, I felt God so strongly talking to me through that one verse at your house. And then on Monday again, I included it in the post again to talk about Julie. Yesterday, I'm talking to her about it. Like, this was definitely a message from God to me, to that verse at your house. And I know she thinks I'm like this crazy person who's always talking about God. So I try not to go too crazy about God with her. But can you believe this morning I just grabbed, because my phone needed charging, and so I just grabbed this book, this meditation book, and you guys can see it's all, you know, all these things that I've marked up and all over the place. Like, this is a well-used book. And so it just so happened that the very page that I opened to was exactly that same one verse. And even the circle part here, I had circled that before, like before I had read this book, maybe months ago, or who knows when I circled this. But I circled it a long time ago, and I opened right up to it this morning. Like, I just took the book and boom, right there. After telling my friend yesterday that I felt God was the one speaking to me through that verse at her house. So guys, this is what I call one of my God winks. For God saying, Nick, I'm with you. You know, for me to open this book exactly to this verse that I'm going all crazy with on Saturday, Sunday again, Monday again, Tuesday again. I'm going crazy all about this verse from 1 Peter 2, verse 19. And it says here, but if doing well you suffer patiently, this is thanksworthy before God. And that's where I want us knowing that every moment of our lives we can live just glorifying God. And Him to come through for me, just to comfort me and let me know, Nick, I'm with you. You know, this lined up too perfect to be some ordinary coincidence. I don't care what anybody says. For me to go on and on and on about this verse and open up right to it, what I had circled for so long ago. It was just God letting me know that His invisible presence is always with me. So His love, guys, of me, like, who am I that God would show me such love and attention, you know? And that's the sweetness I want you guys to know from him, that he loves us so much unconditionally. His love is not like human love. We don't have to behave properly and do all these things to get his love. He loves us no matter how many times. I call this a year of my 1 million falls, but yet God still comes through for me and lets me know, even though I have all these big pressures on me, all these balls in the air, and he just saying, Nick, relax, I'm with you. You just do your best. Like my son Joshua told me, his teacher told him yesterday, you do your best and just leave the rest for me to handle in the spiritual realm. Like, I am fighting with you all your battles, and he shows me. Like some time ago, he said, just watch and see what I will do. And let me tell you, God is showing up and showing off on everything that concerns me. He shows me he's there with me. So guys, please have your appointments with God. I don't want to be feeling like I hit the lottery, that I can walk through life like this with God, happy and joyful and at peace, knowing as I do my best in this physical, broken, crazy world, where all the problems, all the stress, all the trial, but God is walking with me, and I want you guys to know he's walking with you too. It's just I'm the crazy God nerd here that pays attention. And notice when I read that verse on Saturday, I just felt in my spirit like, yes, this is a message from God. And you'll begin to know his voice clearly and be able to discern exactly what he's saying to you on a moment by moment basis on the person he's calling you to be. So yes, he's going to call us to endure some difficult things. We're going to do it for his glory. Like I said in the video yesterday with Pastor Dan Hall, that he's paralyzed from the neck down, and he said, I'm going to glorify God in this chair. I don't know why this has happened to me, but all I know is I can still glorify God from this chair. So whatever painful, tough situations you're going through, guys, we can still glorify God. So that anybody looking at us say, yes, these are people rolling with God. And let's make Papa God proud. And let's keep seeking him, keep having appointments with him. All I'm saying to him, God, I want a closer and closer and closer walk with you. That's my prayer for all of us, that we know without a doubt that Papa God is with us in every moment. He said that the yoke is easy. That's because he's carrying the difficult end of the challenges. We could just show up light and happy and free, do our best, and leave the rest with him. Okay, guys? So don't miss out. I've hit the lottery, baby. I got God with me 24/7, and he's with you too. Peace.